And then the same thing 2/3 of the way through. And then so what we end up with, the main thing to focus on with this, as we are breaking it down, is that we want the pieces to be as even as possible so that we can maintain our cooking temperature at about the same level. So if you have one piece that's 3 times the size of the other one, it's obviously going to take 3 times longer to cook. So they don't have to be absolutely perfect, but you really want to try to keep them as uniform and as even as possible. So what we're going to end up with is essentially 6 chunks out of this that are all going to be really nice, really good marbled. We still have a good bit of that fat on there, but it's nothing too crazy.
Chef, I assume you're available for a few questions, if any of our...
Absolutely, sure. If anybody has any
Anybody
questions
has one,
at
just
all.
throw your hand up, like we're back in elementary school. Oh, well, we've already got 2 over here. Guys, hang on one second.
Perfect.
What's up?
Why do you roast the bones before you make the stock?
So what that does is that's actually a really phenomenal question. There's a couple of different theories behind it. My main principle is that it actually gives your stock a lot more depth of color. So what you're looking for when you roast a bone is you want it to get to the point where you almost think that you screwed it up. So when you make the stock, it will have that really nice, dark, rich color to it. So when you just boil the bones, it's still going to have the same amount of flavor, but it's not going to have the same kind of, I don't want to say caramelized, but it's got that roasted flavor to it instead of just a boiled flavor. So if you get stocks that end up really white or really clear, if you roast the bones ahead of time, it turns it all brown and it gets that really, really nice depth of color to it.
That's a great question. If anybody else has one, just throw your hand up. We'll come to you. Thanks, Chef.
Yes, sir. So once we are completely broken down, this is achiote, which is ground annatto seed. And so basically for this, all we do is it comes in a really fine, it's a pretty thick paste. So we just thin it out with a little bit of orange juice. We season it with salt and pepper, and this is going to be the base for our marinade. So all that we're going to do is take a really healthy amount of this and start just lathering it up. So I do this typically 12 hours ahead of time. If you can do 24 hours, great. If not, just try to give it at least 12, because it really helps to open the pores of the meat with the salt and get that citrus and really nice balanced flavor in there. So all we're going to do is come in here and just start to rub. And we want to make sure that we're getting an even coat and that we're also getting it into any seams that we have, anything that we really, really want that to be kind of stuck in there. You want it to be thick. This is essentially, there's 2 different kind of schools of thought for rubs, especially on barbecue stuff. There's a wet rub and a dry rub. So essentially what this is this is a wet rub that you're just trying to coat and get the whole thing really, really nice and just all in there as best as you can.
Chef, you got time for one question more about the sous vide than the prep?
Absolutely.
So I know after about 2 or 3 hours when you smoke something, right, you don't get the deep smoke penetration anymore. After you sous vide it and the meat firms up, do you get the same smoke penetration afterwards?
You do. So, and that's another very, very great point. So what we're originally looking for, the reason that I don't take this all the way on the smoker is for that exact reason. So it's really after your first 3 to 4 hours of smoking, you're just maintaining temperature. So it's a lot like the same thing as just putting it in the oven, except you are going to add a little bit of smoke flavor. But once it's called a pectin on the outside of the meat. Once that seals, you're not imparting any more smoke flavor into it. So at about the 8-hour mark, it's typically, I go based on temperature more than I go based on anything else. But yeah, so realistically, you're not going to add a lot more smoke flavor to it, but the smoke will carry through when you sous vide it. Yeah, no, of course. Right. And that's, it's a lot of trial and error with sous videing stuff and smoking stuff. I will tell you that I have made more mistakes in my career smoking meat than I ever have before. It's one of those it's all trial and error. Yes, sir.
Chef, is this something that we can pick up at the cantina?
It absolutely is. So this is on our menu. We do this with, it's essentially just this exact same piece that comes out with charred spring onions. We serve a pan sauce with it. We do some simple grilled vegetables, and it's an absolutely phenomenal kind of share plate that you guys can come over and enjoy with 4 or 5 friends. Our kind of style that we go for is I love the family style atmosphere. I love kind of feeling like you're at a backyard barbecue where you're just hanging out with friends. It's not a pretentious, it's not, it's a really relaxed environment. We don't do anything really crazy fine dining stuff like that. We've kind of gotten away from that, as a lot of cooks have, and it's more about the food that we want to eat and enjoy with our friends and with our families. So once we have this all marinated and once we have this all ready to go, I'm going to pop this back in the fridge, and I will show you guys the kind of final product that we're working with.
Chef, how long would we normally marinate something like that?
So
How long
it's
do we-
it was. I just touched on that briefly. Typically, 12 hours would be minimum. 24 hours is preferred. You really don't want to go too much further than that. And it's not that you're going to screw anything up. It's just going to be that you're not going to. You're just kind of wasting time at that point. Well, after the 24-hour mark, you're not really going to impart too much more flavor. You're just
Right.
going to end up with it right there.
Got it.
So what we do is after that, we take our vacuum bag, we vac seal it. And so this is what it comes out as after about 12 hours in the marinade. If you guys can't invest in a vac sealer, a Ziploc bag will work, but it's really, the ones that we use are obviously commercial grade, but they have some pretty decent ones at Walmart and on Amazon and all of that for about $60 to $70. So if you're looking into kind of starting the sous vide, you can really get this whole setup for right around $150 to $200, and it'll be absolutely perfect for any needs that you need. So what we do after that is this. I'm sorry, I'm skipping a step in it. So this has already been marinated, smoked, and then we go back into the vac seal. So what this is, we marinate like this, pull it off, put it on the smoker for 8 hours, and then bring it back to the vac seal bag with a little bit more orange juice, some chili powder, and a little bit more salt, and then we drop it into our sous vide machine. So what this is the best way that I can describe this is essentially a hot tub for food that holds at a very specific temperature. So what I do, I usually keep it at about 169 to 170 degrees, and this goes down to a point scale as well. So I actually have it set at 177 right now, just to get it up to temperature. And then once it drops and once we catch it, we can adjust it from there. So all we're gonna do is drop this right in here, and it's the simplest cooking process ever. And then after 18 to 24 hours, it's just gonna be complete butter. So if everybody is ready, I think we've got some samples.
We certainly
Excuse
do.
me. Perfect. So yeah, if we want to start passing out samples, I'd love for you guys to try this. And if there are any more questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Chef, one more time, the name
Yes,
of
sir.
the dish.
I'm sorry?
What do you call this dish?
So this is our Texican tostada, is how that we're presenting it today. On our normal menu, it's our conchinita pibil.
Wow, fantastic. Looks beautiful. Any questions from the crowd, or you just want to eat? They just want to eat, Chef.
They just want to eat. Beautiful. It looks like my team is coming over right now with some samples
Wow.
for you guys.
Do we pay here, or do we just pay our server? Because this looks incredible. This is beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Patrick Hildebrandt, everybody. You can find him at the cantina.
Thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Chef.
Absolutely.